Journalism and Strategic Media, here's Blue Raider Extra Point.
And welcome to Blue Raider Extra Point. I'm Abigail Martin here with Chase Owens and with Will Stevenson. We're here at the School of Journalism and Strategic Media, ready to give you all the Conference USA and MTSU Blue Raider info on this college game day morning. Let's go ahead and kick things off. First up, we have Nathan Vaughn in the starting lineup.
The starting lineup.
In the highest profile match of perhaps the entire 2020 season, undefeated and third-ranked Georgia heads to Tuscaloosa for a meeting with fellow undefeated and second-ranked Alabama. The Dogs are fresh off a dominating second-half performance versus rivals Tennessee, where Georgia stomped out any hope of a ball upset between the hedges. The Dogs' defense is only allowing 12.3 points and 198 yards per game. Meanwhile, on offense, Stetson Bennett has taken charge in the last 2 weeks and is receiving help on the ground from Kendall Milton and Zamir White to keep the attack balanced. If Georgia wins in Tuscaloosa, it would be the first win over the Tide since 2007, when Matt Stafford and Knowshon Moreno topped the Tide at Bryant-Denny in Nick Saban's first year at Alabama. Speaking of Nick Saban, the college football world received a massive shock Wednesday evening when the famed Alabama head coach announced he had tested positive for COVID-19 alongside athletic director Greg Byrne. Already on the ropes after a shootout win with Ole Miss showed the flaws in the formerly impenetrable Tide defense, Alabama will likely have to top Georgia with their coach off the sideline. Alabama offensive coordinator Steve Sarkisian will hope his high-powered offense can put the Tide over the top against the iron-willed Georgia defense. Mac Jones looks to be in Heisman Hunt form, as so does Najee Harris, the running back, especially as the pair helped pour 63 points on Ole Miss last week. That could, however, be only part one of this series, with both teams still in prime position to make it to Atlanta even with a loss. Other games of interest include a pair of ACC games that should be close contests. Virginia Tech will host Boston College while Miami hosts Pittsburgh. Virginia Tech hung close with undefeated North Carolina last week despite having a laundry list of players out due to COVID concerns. Meanwhile, Boston College is ecstatic after a wild win in overtime versus Pittsburgh. Speaking of the Panthers, they'll try and shake off that loss with a trip to Miami, who also wants to forget last week's spanking at the hands of Clemson.
So it looks like we're going to have a lot of great games to watch on this busy college football Saturday. Chase, what are your can't-miss games for today?
Today, I like Western Kentucky versus UAB. UAB was actually in the conference championship last season and continuing a strong season. And Western Kentucky, even when they're down, they're still good. And then the game that everyone should be watching on a Saturday night, Georgia facing Alabama. Huge offensive line, huge defensive line, both sides of the football. It's just going to be one that you always want to see.
And I hate to tell you for your Gator heart, but I see Georgia taking home the win in that one.
Yeah, well, you choose North Texas every week. So.
Oh, and with that, we are going to take a quick break. Coming up next, we have the Big Blue Review. Stay tuned for more on Blue Raider Extra Point.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Or maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all. If I could go back, I would. But I can't.
And welcome back to Blue Raider Extra Point. I'm Abigail Martin along with Chase Owens and with Will Stevenson. Let's go ahead and dive right into things. The Noahs have had a busy week getting everything covered for the MTSU Blue Raider info. Here they are with the Big Blue Review.
The Big Blue Review.
The Blue Raiders get their first win of the season.
It's about time.
Oh, absolutely. But for this week, let's take a look back on how that happened and what else happened while we were gone. The game was back and forth the entire time until Asher O'Hara threw a 12-yard pass to Jaron Pierce to go up by 3 with 1:20 left in the game. Then, with 35 seconds left in the game, the Miami native Greg Great picked the ball off to seal the deal for the Blue Raiders. Final score 31-28 over FIE.
What about the other sports that happened this weekend?
Well, the Middle Tennessee's men's tennis team finished the weekend with 25 wins at the Buck Bolden Battle of the Borough with Chattanooga, South Alabama, and UAB at the Adams Tennis Complex on Sunday.
Wow, 25 wins. That's incredible. Didn't golf have something happen too?
Oh yeah, golf had a huge weekend as they unveiled a brand new $1 million facility in College Grove, Tennessee.
$1 million?
Oh, absolutely. $1 million. And is set to open December of 2020. Plus, they claimed their first team win at the Grove on Tuesday.
Well, what else is going on this week?
That's a conversation for next week as we are all out of time. Back to y'all from the Noahs.
Thanks to the Noahs. Much more to come on Blue Raider Extra Point. Coming up right after the break, we're going to take you around this USA.
And Houston Chapman will have this week's Blue Raider Spotlight.
And because I don't think I can get any hotter right now, we have the picks coming up. Stick around, we've got more coming for you on Blue Raider Extra Point.
You're watching Blue Raider Extra Point.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Or maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
Once there was a boy who did the same thing again and again. One day, he was told he had autism. He got help and slowly learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
And we're back on Blue Raider Extra Point. We're coming to you from School of Journalism and Strategic Media. And Chase, I know you're so excited for us to get this one rolling. You've been ready to take us around this USA. So what you got for us?
This week, 2 huge games for you guys. We have Marshall playing La Tech. Marshall undefeated on the year. La Tech's 1 loss came to BYU. 2 big teams looking to gain early dominance in Conference USA. And then we also have MTSU coming off their first win of the season, playing a team that we know is close to one of our very own's hearts, North Texas. Let's get right into it.
Around the CUSA.
Marshall is still undefeated on the year and is coming off of a huge conference win against WKU. Grant Wells is continuing to be a strong quarterback as he is averaging 210 yards and a touchdown per game. He also has a very good running back in Brendan Knox, who is averaging 110 yards and 1.5 touchdowns per game. This Marshall offense is paired with a Marshall defense that has only given up an average of 7 points per game. Marshall is strong and getting stronger. Louisiana Tech is also having a strong season as they are 3-1 and their only loss has been to BYU. La Tech has accomplished this on the arm of Luke Anthony, who has thrown for 740 yards and 10 touchdowns through only 4 games. 2 dominant wide receivers, Adrian Hardy and Smoke Harris, are the guiding forces to this strong passing attack. A combined 377 yards, 29 receptions, and 4 touchdowns, these two will test Marshall's bend but don't break defense. MTSU is coming off their first win of the season against FIU and look to keep it rolling against a team they should beat in North Texas. Asher O'Hara stayed hot this week as he recorded all 4 touchdowns for the Blue Raiders. That puts him at 10 total touchdowns on the season. If he can control the ball this week and keep scoring, look for MTSU to start a winning streak. North Texas is struggling this year as they are 1-3, but their own win is against Houston Baptist, who it seems everyone from Conference USA beats. It's not been for a lack of offense, though, as they are averaging 36 points per game, but they can't stop a nosebleed this season as they are giving up an average of 47 points per game. If the Mean Green can slow down Asher O'Hara, then their offense will keep them in this game.
Thanks, Chase. And now here's the full lineup of all the Conference USA games for this weekend.
It's a busy week for Conference USA, but keep an eye on that UTSA and Army game. In my opinion, if anybody from Conference USA is going to take out Army, it's going to be the Roadrunners.
Well, I think you're sliding Marshall a little bit, but I understand where you're coming from.
I don't know, man, but that's enough for football right now. Let's pass it over to the hardwood where Houston Chapman has this week's Blue Raider Spotlight.
What's up, Blue Raiders? I'm Houston Chapman here with JV. JV, tell me a little about yourself.
I'm JV Miller Chris. I'm a senior here and I play small and power forward.
So, how was the season going last year?
It was going all right. We didn't get to where we wanted to be, but I felt like towards the end we were coming more together and we started to become more of a team.
So, what have you been working on this off season?
I've been working on my free throws, a little bit of ball handling, and a little bit becoming more consistent from 3.
What is one of the hardest drills you have to do during practice?
We have a defensive drill called 3 and out, where there's 3 players and everybody else is on offense, and you have to get 3 stops in a row in order for you to get out of the drill.
All right, JV, do you got any trick shots?
Yeah, I got a few.
All right, I think I have some too, so let's play some pig and see who's got the best trick shot.
I went first, and I went with the Dirk fadeaway jumper. JV tried it and missed it, giving him his first letter. Then JV shot a 3, and I answered it. Then JV went over the top of the backboard and on my attempt, I barely got it to go. Then I went for the left-hand foul line floater, and he made it too. Then I went back to my dirt shot, and JV missed it again, giving him a second letter. Then JV hit a free throw, and I missed mine. Then JV went for the way deep three and nailed it. And on my attempt, I missed off the back iron. Then he goes for the dunk. And if you can see right here, unbelievably, he's wearing Crocs, which is just insane. It shows how high he can really jump. Then, on my attempt, I came up just short, giving JV the win.
Well, that was a great game. I thought I had him there. We were tied 2-2, but then he finished me off with a dunk, and he did that in Crocs, which is just insane. But here's the thing, I had a great time. If you want to check out JV and the rest of the men's basketball team, you can check them out on social media. And tune in next week for the next Blue Raider Spotlight.
Thanks, Houston. And Chase, I want to ask you, how many people do you know can dunk in Crocs?
I know that I'm not one of them, and I know Houston couldn't do it because he couldn't do it in whatever shoes he was wearing, but that'll be all right. When we come back, we've got the scouting report with Henry Frazier. Stick around for more Blue Raider Extra Point.
Catch Blue Raider Extra Point right here Saturday mornings at 10:30 from Party Foul in Murfreesboro.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
Once there was a boy who did the same thing again and again. One day, he was told he had autism. He got help and slowly learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Time for more Blue Raider Extra Point.
Welcome back. MTSU is set to face North Texas, and we're going to go ahead and kick things over to Henry Frazier with the scouting report.
Thank you guys. MTSU will be playing North Texas this week. North Texas took a big loss last week to Charlotte, 49-21 at home. This means they're still unable to beat an FBS team this season, which is odd because if you look at their numbers, they don't look too bad. Having 41 points per game average, low turnover numbers, and only giving up 3 sacks. Quarterback Jason Bean as well has an average of 181 yards per game, as well as only 1 interception. Also note though, they did miss a game to Houston due to a COVID-19 situation. It's the defense that's really bringing them down, allowing an average of 46.5 points per game, as well as over 570 yards of total offense. Another thing hurting North Texas is penalties. They have an average of 55 yards per game. Another stat to look at, last season North Texas was unable to win a single away game. They did beat MTSU at home. MTSU allowed them to get a 50-yard kickoff return with only 30 seconds left, allowing them to get a game-winning field goal. As well, MTSU allowed 300-plus passing yards. MTSU was unable to get their passing game going as Asher O'Hara only had 136 passing yards. Expect this to be a close game as MTSU looks to bring the series closer to being tied. Right now, North Texas leads 9-7.
Thanks, Henry. And now with that scouting report in mind, what are some keys to succeed for MTSU versus North Texas?
This week, for my first key, MTSU has got to be able to keep the momentum. Their past 3 games have been decided by 1 possession or less, and they need to finish out and keep building what has been a strong bounce back from the start of the season. Number 2, they have got to keep the ball in their hands. Through the first couple weeks, we have had 10 turnovers, and if you average 2 turnovers a game, even against a team like North Texas, you're not going to be able to win. And number 3, have a strong passing game. North Texas gives up an average of 350 passing yards, and if Asher O'Hara can keep playing the way he has these past couple weeks, we're going to be in it to win it.
That's true, but my first key, stop Jalen Darden. The Mean Green receiver pulled in 244 receiving yards with 3 touchdowns last week. North Texas threw for a total of 394 yards, so Darden is obviously the favorite target and needs to be watched in all 4 quarters. The second key is help Asher. O'Hara logged both rushing scores and threw 3 TDs as well. He ran for 100 plus and threw for 200 plus for 2 consecutive weeks, but throwing into tight coverage is leading to interceptions. Better routes and including more running players will make the difference. My last key is take a breath. We finally got our first win, and it wasn't pretty, but it still puts a number in the win column. The next goal is to basically ride the momentum and catch up to our losses to get back to 500.
Well, we always seem to have some similar keys in mind. For my first key, spread the leadership around. It has to be a team effort. Asher went 23 for 42 for a total of 268 yards and for 2 touchdowns, which is great, but he also was the leading rusher for that game, 23 carries for 106 yards, which, not complaining, but it'd be nice to see some other people take the ball and find some points with that as well. Key number 2, keep control offensively. Help out the defense, demand control, and keep the chains rolling, but find the points that are going to go with it. And 3, find a consistent defense. North Texas has allowed 186 points against in 4 games, with MTSU allowing 174 points in 5 games. It's going to be a high-scoring game, so find the consistency, and that's going to help your team out overall.
Yeah, and if MTSU can do those, they'll be successful. But for right now, we've got to head to a timeout. When we come back, we've all got our picks. So stick around to see those on Blue Raider Extra Point.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So, yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a 4th ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Once there was a boy who did the same thing again and again. One day, he was told he had autism. He got help and slowly learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back to Blue Raider Extra Point. We have a busy college football Saturday ahead of us, so let's go ahead and get in our picks. First up, we have WKU and UAB.
I've got UAB.
I think WKU's kind of struggled this year, but I like Tyrell Pogrom, and I'm going to go with the Hilltoppers.
I have UAB. Army and UTSA.
I've said it earlier in the show that if any Conference USA team is going to take down Army, it would be the Roadrunners. So I'm sticking with them. I'm going UTSA.
I agreed, but I added the caveat that Marshall would probably be a team that could beat Army, but neither team will beat Army, and I'm going with the Black Knights.
I have Army. Marshall and La Tech.
I'm going Marshall. It's a strong team.
Marshall's been undefeated so far in the year, and I think it continues today. I'm going with the Marshall.
Marshall's been really solid. I have them as well. Southern Miss and UTEP.
I'm going UTEP.
You know, the Miners ground game is pretty insane. I'm going to ride with it. Go Miners.
I have Chase's favorite team. I have UTEP. FIU and Charlotte.
If Charlotte can't beat FIU after MTSU beat FIU, I don't know what's happening. I'm going Charlotte.
Nothing matters more than a good defense. Give me the 49ers.
I have Charlotte. And MTSU and North Texas.
And I know that Will typically loves to talk about North Texas, but I'm going to give him a second, let him think about it. And I'm going to let you know, for the second week in a row, I'm going with MTSU to win.
I'm going MTSU as well. I hate picking them over North Texas because they're going to get a win at some point. And because I'm picking MTSU, it will be this week, but I'm still going MTSU.
I don't know what's more surprising for me, you going against North Texas or you picking MTSU for a second week in a row. I have our Blue Raiders.
Check out Blue Raider Extra Point on Instagram and Twitter.
All right, we got to leave it there. Thank you to the School of Journalism and Strategic Media. Remember to catch us right here on Channel 9 at 10:30 every Saturday morning. And follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We want to hear from you.
Absolutely. If you want to keep up with MTN Sports, if you missed any of this episode or any of the last episodes, you can check those out on our website at middletennesseenews.net. Thank you for watching and have a great week.
So, bro, how hard was that MTSU North Texas trip?
I couldn't do it, man.
How long did you think about it?
I texted you guys before I got here and asked which one you guys thought I was going to pick. I still haven't made my mind up at that
Dude, I was
point.
really thinking to myself, I was like, I feel like Will would somehow lose this pick no matter if
MT's coming off a win.
Like, there's going to be a tie or something. That's not even possible in college football.
No, North Texas is going to win because I picked MTSU. When we come back next week, I'm going North Texas for the rest of the year. They can play Marshall.
When they get all season.
I'm picking North Texas over Marshall. That's what's happening.
All right.
And it's so funny because, 2 weeks ago, you were like, oh, they don't have to win, but Will's so adamant about it.
Yeah. I don't think they listen to Will.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Never gonna let you go.